Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. One thing to notice on the bar at the very bottom, we're now up to 6.3 inches of snow for the season. Normal today 4.9, so yes, we're above normal. That's good. Nice to say that. Last year 3.7, so we're even ahead of last year. The official total of Louisville at the airport 3.7, 3.9 by the way at the National Weather Service. You round that up, that's how they work this. It's a 4-inch event. 4 inches is technically a winter storm, so technically a winter storm did hit the area today. 25 at the moment, 25 in Salem, 19 into Seymour. Yes, we still have a warming flow, so that's why we're holding in the mid-20s. But then we look ahead to tomorrow. We do have the winter storm watch in effect for most of our Kentucky counties. Nothing for Indiana, and the reason for that, very sharp cutoff for Indiana, and we'll get into that detail on that in just a second. First off, the snow is out of here, moving off into the eastern part of the state. In fact, look at the snow reports. Tons of snow reports came in from you at home. You sent them to the Weather Service, and they got relayed, sent them to us. We relayed them to the Weather Service, and these are all the plots where measurable snow did take place. Overall, the models estimated, this is not an exact map, but in general, a 2 to 4 widespread event, and there were some pockets of closer to 5 in our southern counties where the warning was. So overall, did good. The Triple R model, I think, in my opinion, did the best. But we just can't use it until the last moment, and that's what's kind of sad about that model. Now, the sky's clearing to our west. Look at that. You see the snow being revealed as the clouds leave that across Indiana and the Wabash into Illinois. Still got clouds over us, even some reporting stations, Lafayette and Evansville reporting a little hint of sunshine, so can't roll that out here locally. Then we get to the west. This is where we're waiting for our next system here. It's going to be developing out of the Rockies. Got one little lead wave, another wave dropping down. These kind of will merge together and form the low that will move off to the east. Now, the track of the low is what is going to be crucial. Now, technically, there's always a rule of thumb that low pressures love to track on the south edge of snowpacks. And now some of this here, again, this is not an exact snowpack map, but it's a general idea. But some of this will melt tomorrow. So the question is, will that have an influence in the low? If there's some melting in it, move the low back north again at the last minute. Or do we end up with a cold pack here of snow that stays intact, and that would push the low into Georgia, which is what a lot of the models have done today. And I think that's the reason why, in my personal opinion, snowpack has a tendency to do that. Now, for us, what we've got to keep in mind is that the balloons were launched at 8 a.m. for the network here in our area. At that point, we had about 2 inches of snow on the ground. We doubled that after that point. So the 12Z model data that you're looking at today does not factor the entire snowpack just yet. The 18Z will have that idea involved, but it doesn't have new balloon data. So it's the 0Z models, or the late night models tonight, right before the 11 o'clock news, that will have the new updated data of the atmosphere from this system. It will also have a better handle on how much snow is on the ground. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any more adjustments back to the north with that low, or will it stay here to the south. But the track of that low is crucial because there is going to be a sharp cutoff to the north, and there's also going to be a potential for a mix to the south end. So this is a tough one. This is by far one of the tougher ones I've seen in quite some time. Now here's the NAM model for tonight. It takes us to the 20s. Now the NAM says we're not going to get it above freezing tomorrow. And I think that's pretty likely given the snowpack at this point. Other models are taking us into the upper 30s. So we're probably going to trend lower. There will be some sunshine, at least hints of sunshine. That would be the only thing that could mess that idea completely, because you can still get melting, by the way, with sun, even though you're below freezing. There will be some melting that happens, especially on the roadways, so the roads will be in decent shape. But if we stay cloudy, I think below 32 is going to be quite likely. And then as we head into Friday morning for the commute, the NAM is showing a warmer profile, so therefore it's getting more of the idea of a little bit of sleet and or freezing rain, snow, very narrow band of snow. And then by the Friday evening time frame, look at the cutoff on this. I mean, this is dramatic of the snow right along the Ohio River, and then nothing north of Louisville, and then your heavier bands of snow over here in eastern areas of Kentucky closer to the low itself. So the deformation band is going to be key here. Do we have any banding features that show up in this deformation band that can enhance totals? And that would be more likely over central Kentucky. And then for Louisville, I'm telling you, it is going to be a close call where we could see about half a foot of snow potentially from Mount Washington to Shepherdsville, using it in a hypothetical, not our forecast, hypothetical. But then you travel to Clarksville, Indiana, nothing. That is a huge difference, and it's going to be right over the metro. You can see why we're stressed. The snow moves out as we head into Saturday morning, and it's all over with. Here's the Schreff model. Now, the black line is the average of all the other ideas the model has. So we're looking at the black line. And the black line itself, the average, shows us at about 10 inches of snow. Keep in mind, this is cumulative, so we've got to subtract this part out of it. So in general, it's about a 7 to 8 inch snowfall is what it has when you look at that, when you take out the part that's already added into the factor there. Also look at the Schreff. I ran the model run to suggest what are the chances of at least a half a foot of snow. And right across southern Indiana and a good chunk of Kentucky, it's roughly 40% and you get into 50 to 60% in eastern Kentucky. What about a foot of snow? Well, across central Kentucky, the chance goes up to about 50%. 40 to 50%, I should say. Central Kentucky, and then much higher, of course, in the mid-Atlantic. So what about 2 feet of snow? It gives very little chance, about 10 to 20% chance around the bluegrass area of Kentucky, and then nothing for Louisville. So just hypothetically speaking, I'm trying to see where the model is looking, and it's more focused on the 6 to 12 idea than anything higher. I did look at the WPC forecast, which is, this is what they draw. This is a hand-drawn map they do, and for 75% profile, 75% chance, it is showing about a foot of snow that could fall over Kentucky and then a little higher to the north. Now, I got a feeling this is going to change in their new update this afternoon, so don't be surprised to see that get shifted to the south. In fact, here's the NAM, high-res NAM model. It's showing, look at that, 1 inch in Louisville, 3 in Brandenburg, and then you get into, say, Bardstown and E-Town area, and we're talking about 10 inches of snow. This kind of reminds me of last winter, the February, Valentine's weekend, and March. Remember how it was really heavy snow, and then hardly anything fell north? Awful similar to that. So we'll see. I mean, the track is crucial by all means, but I want to stress, if you get anything out of watching this video blog today, I've got to stress that the northern edge is going to have a dramatic shutoff, and it could impact one county in a huge way. So stay tuned for updates on that idea. Now, here's the Weather Service official forecast as of now. Now they're going to update this in about an hour or two. The Weather Service offices are giving Louisville about 5 inches, and then about half a foot in the bluegrass area, and then getting closer to a foot in the mountains there in east. And it does have light accumulations in Indiana, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to shift that to the south. My only concern in all this is going to be if that southern edge of that snow cover does erode, that low wants to go back north again, and that is possible. So we'll keep an eye on that idea. All right, I'll stop there for right now, guys, and I'll try to look at more data as we do this afternoon, and maybe do another blog update after the 5:30 newscast. We'll have an attempt to look at snow totals this afternoon, but I really think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. I personally want to see the Triple R model again to see how it's handling it, but we're not going to be able to see that until I would say sometime Thursday night before we really get a handle on what that model is saying. So it's kind of a shame. The best models are the short range, but go figure. They have higher data to work with and better resolution, so it makes sense. So that's it for right now, guys. Still on tap for a winter storm for Kentucky on Friday. Indiana, much lower risk, but Kentucky still is in the game. Stay tuned and stay close.